Hey everybody, today I'm going to run down my top 10 list of most wanted G.I. Joe classified figures. Your list might have some overlap with mine, and it probably also has some divergence, so feel free to share your top 10 in the comments section. Number 10, Battle Armor Cobra Commander. I will be happy, or I will likely be happy, with whatever version of Cobra Commander they come out with next, but I would be very happy with the Battle Armor Cobra Commander. I think that they could do an excellent job with this character. I think he would look amazing in the 6-inch form. The aesthetic of the original figure would translate well to 6-inch, and if they only did some tweaking around the edges, I think they could really make this character look awesome. 9. Iron Grenadier. Now that we have scrap iron coming down the pike, I think it would be awesome to fill out Destro's ranks with some Iron Grenadier army builders. These guys have a pretty cool look, kind of intimidating. I think they would look great on the shelf, flanking Destro. This is another figure that I do not think they would have to change very much to make it look really great as a 6-inch classified figure. Again, like Battle Armored Cobra Commander, only minor tweaks around the edges. Just make it pop a little bit more. But really, the original design here is pretty awesome. 8. Techno Viper. With Dr. Mindbender coming at some point in the future, wouldn't it be cool to have some Techno Vipers helping him out in the laboratory, working on some machinery, doing some engineering? Also, their purple uniforms, I think, really match with Dr. Mindbender, and I don't think that was accidental on Hasbro's part when they created these characters. So I'm picturing my shelf having Dr. Mindbender, some bats, and a couple Techno Vipers as support staff, as the tech department, what have you. And I think that would look awesome, so I'm really looking forward to these guys being announced one day. 7. Televiper. Similar to Techno Vipers, I think the Televipers are important because they are Cobra's communication experts, and I'd really like to fill out my ranks, so to speak. So we have some soldiers, your Vipers and your troopers. We need to have that support staff. Also, I think it would be a really awesome package if they packaged Televiper with a flight pod, just like in the flight pod or Trouble Bubbles box art. So maybe it is that the Televiper is the driver that comes with the flight pod. This is my top 10 list, so actually, let's say number 7, Televiper with the flight pod. 6. Jinx. I feel like we have been getting a good number of ninjas. Still, I want to add another ninja. I want to add Jinx. I always thought she was a cool character. I think it's more likely than not that we will see this character released sooner than later, or at least announced. And the version I would like to see is pretty close to the original version, updated to look a little more modern. 5. Buzzer, Ripper, and Torch. Maybe this is a bit of a cheat, putting 3 characters in one slot, but this is my list, so I'm kind of doing what I like. And also, I would really like to see these characters come out as a 3-pack. I'd really like to build out the Dreadnought roster, and what a better way to do that than to get a 3-pack of these classic Dreadnoughts. 4. Hawk, or I should say General Hawk. My preferred version of Hawk would be this version. That said, I believe Hawk is the type of character where we could get some extra stuff. Maybe he's a deluxe, comes with a vehicle or something like that. Since this is my wish list here, I would like to see Hawk come with this classic outfit, but with some kind of deluxe item, be it a jetpack or something else. 3. Road Pig. I think he would look awesome on the shelf. They should really do him right. They should make him larger than Heavy Artillery Roadblock. I think, and they should really go in on the details and really make this guy look vicious. And I think they could totally do that. And I don't think it would be too difficult to imagine, especially seeing some of the customs that are out there. Number 2, Flash. This character is probably not this high on most people's lists, but for me, I really want to see this character in 6-inch. He was one of my first G.I. Joes when I was younger and, playing with these guys back in the day. And for whatever reason, he was always like one of my favorite characters. I think it's the orange armor or whatever he's wearing. I kind of feel like he's like classic G.I. Joe look. And I'd really like to see this brought to life in 6-inch form. And with that said, I think it would also be cool to see Grand Slam because they both have that same gear. Number 1, Lifeline. Now, as of the moment, I feel like this is the biggest gaping hole in the G.I. Joe classified roster. We do not have any kind of medic. Like, who's going to patch these guys up when they're wounded out there on the battlefield? I could also get down with Doc, but because this is my list, I'd rather have Lifeline because I have the Super 7 Ultimates Doc already pre-ordered. And since I'll already have one version of Doc, I would like to at least have one version of Lifeline. So for me, a classified version of Lifeline would be ideal. Also, I think he would really stand out on the shelf with his red and white uniform. And I'm going to add another piece on top of this one. Again, this is kind of what I would like to see happen, not necessarily what I think will happen. But I think it would be really cool if Lifeline were to be packaged with this battle station. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce that because when I do in my head, it never sounds correct. So feel free to spell it out phonetically for me in the comments. Honorable mentions: Eel and Snow Serpent. They didn't make the list because I feel like it's a foregone conclusion that these will come out in the next year or so. My reasoning is that we were already told that they're coming out with Torpedo and Snow Job, so it only makes sense to me that they'll come out with the most obvious Cobra villains, troopers, what have you, for these guys to fight or whatever, have posed with, displayed on the shelf together. So I'm so convinced that these characters are going to be announced like anytime now. I'm not even putting them on my list because this list is more stuff that I would really like to see. My list isn't about things that I'm predicting are going to happen or whatever. So because it's more of a fantasy list, I left Eel and Snow Serpent off, but let's call it top 12 then, Eel and Snow Serpent. All right. And if you'd like to share your top 10 or convince me why I should have something different on the top 10, go ahead and let me know about it below. All right, everybody, until next time.